Everybody, I'm Fiera Luna, and I play games on the internet. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by, and if you've been here before, welcome back. Today, we're finally playing Ace Attorney again. It's been so long. It is. We were talking to Larry last we left off. Larry! Because there's something that we need, and I don't remember what it was. Oh yeah, we got the emergency buzzer out of him. Why are we here? Why are we here? You guys have really made me reflect on the way I've been living. But the only problem is, with all this reflecting, where's the time for love? Frankly, I think reflecting is a bit overrated, you know? What are you going on about, Larry? Plus, do you honestly have any new info on the buzzer record? Huh? The record? No, nothing at all. This guy reflects about as much as a piece of black carpeting. Oh yes, you're right. We did clear Larry's. He gave us information. Let's go see if there's... Was there a psyche lock here? No. I don't remember where we left off exactly. No, that's fine. Somebody had a... Oh, what's-her-face had a psychic lock. Adrian. Adrian's having a problem. What was her psyche lock about? The sacred urn. Right. We think she had it, that it broke, and that she had it redone. So let's look at the court record real quick. Let's look at our court record real quick. Yeah, this is all busted up. No, that's not useful to us. Let me see what she says. So, do you know anything about the sacred urn? Well, who? Me? In court today, Miss Delight brought the urn back. But it's a little different from the urn I remember. Okay, she's only got 2 locks. I think we might have everything. So Adrian does know something that she's not telling us. Nick, I want to find out about the murder, but I also want to know about the urn. I'd like to know myself. Another loose end to tie up, I guess. Hello? Controller? Uh-oh. Aw. Let's try this again. Okay. Ah! I lost all its light for a second. I'm gonna check one thing first, and that's to see if I can put something, to what's-her-face. It's like an ESAT, 2 quest lines going at the same time. There's always multiple quest lines going at the same time. That's just how it is. I know I'll need a guide for King's Quest. What have we spoken about? Can we present you the treasure exhibit poster? Can you tell us about the urn? I'm so happy that you got your sacred urn back. Well, I have you to thank for that, Miss Delight. And I'm sorry. Huh? What are you apologizing for? Because I mistakenly blamed your husband for taking it. Ha! I told you, didn't I? My Ronnie could never do such a thing. I just want a picture of the urn fixed up. Maybe I don't need it. Maybe there's some other way to break this. I'm sure we'll figure it out. Well, let's go and see if we can figure it out anyway. Right, we present the Megatama at her. Ma'am, I'm gonna yell at you with a magic rock. I feel like that's how we do things. Oh yeah, I forgot to welcome everybody in. Anyway, hi Val, hi Rice, hi Catoid. Hello everybody. Miss Andrews, do you know anything about the Sacred Urn? Do I know anything? I'm in charge of the entire treasure exhibit. The urn was submitted before the court today. It's obviously not the same urn as before. Well, that's true. Maybe it isn't the same. It could be a fake. A fake. Well, you're the one who said it wasn't the same, so that's the most obvious explanation. Do you have any evidence that the urn submitted today at the trial was genuine? Do we? I don't know if we do. I want to present the camera photo or the poster, but I don't think we do have the evidence here. I thought we did. Maybe we need those pink splotches of paint, because we know we can see the pink splotches. I know I'm gonna need to present this treasure exhibit poster later. Let's see. It's not a fake. Like, I know that much. Huh. But what do I... No, that's not what I need. We'll try it. Well, Miss Andrews? Nope. See, look, it was a fake after all, huh? I mean, your evidence is fake too, as I expected. Oops, I guess this isn't going to help me much. Right. Oh, I could have just hit the stop button. I'm silly. I don't think I have enough evidence yet. I should investigate and gather some more clues before I try again. Oh, the detention center! We haven't been to the detention center yet. Goodness. Or more accurately, I think that we have, but I don't think we got to talk to Master Mask. I think that's what we've been trying to do, actually, is get the game to understand that we're talking to Master Mask. That's what we've been trying to do this whole time. There we go! I don't know. Oh, we talked to Larry and we got the buzzer code stuff. Okay, here we are. The Sacred Urn was actually a Pot of Greed. They drew 2 whole cards with it. Yes! I play Pot of Greed from my deck, which allows me to draw 2 cards. Which is way too powerful for a card to be, but here we are. Oh, and also, I had tasty food, but I forgot to eat the fortune cookie, so I'm gonna do it now, chat. Fortune cookies are very silly. They have a long, weird history, but I'm gonna eat this one. There is a fortune inside, unlike the one time Mint got one where there wasn't. Okay, so, there's a place down the street where in the grocery store, they sell bags of bulk fortune cookies. Why do they do this? I don't know, I don't care. They do, and it's great. I love it. I like fortune cookies. I'm the weird person who's like, these are actually delicious and we should have more of them. They taste almost like almond cookies, but not quite. Almond cookies are delicious. They're these things made of almond and primarily egg, and I'm not sure how to explain them, but there's a place at home that does them. And I found them once again, and I was very excited. Of course, I can only get them sometimes. Family isn't allowed to visit the mortal plane very often. From the depths of the ocean. But that's okay. I like them. Ah, yes, the fortune. Don't worry about money. The best things in life are free. You can do both. All right. Ah! Mr. Wright! Mr. Delight, did they finish their interrogation? Yes, but... Please don't leave me here anymore! Mr. Delight, you lied to us before, didn't you? Well, you see... On the same night the Sacred Urn was stolen from Lordly Taylor Department Store, a blackmail letter you got summoned you to KB Security to hand over some money. And then that's where the CEO, Kane Bullard, was murdered. But there's only one Ron Delight, am I right? So the only question is, where were you that night? This time I want to hear the whole truth. Your life depends on it. Okay. Honey... Mr. Delight, do you still insist that you are Master Mask? Well, isn't that what I've been saying since yesterday? That was a quick response. Tell me about it. To be honest, it's starting to get irritating. But But listen, Mr. Delight. At the trial today, we learned the true identity of the thief, didn't we? I'm not voicing Luke at me's breakdown again. But I promise you, he had a breakdown about being masked to mask. I guess it's true. I wasn't the one who stole the urn. Of course not. After all, you were at KB Security at the time. Oh. Ah. Ah. Okay. Okay. Sorry, my stream manager crashed a little. There we go. Of course not. After all, you were at KB Security at the time. So then the person dressed up as Mask to Mask in this photo, it's gotta be Detective Atme. Hi, Stildoro! Welcome in! 1 egg. I love these games too. That's why we're playing the DS version, because I like it. I think it's nice. There is a remake for the Switch that you can play if you don't like pixel graphics, but I like pixel graphics a lot, because I like doing pixel art, did you know? Nice tattoo. So that night, you didn't go to Lordly Taylor. You went to KB Security, right? Yes. I went to KB Security at the time the blackmail note said I should. Oh, right! What happened next? Well, I used to work there, so I knew where the CEO's office was. I knocked, but there was no answer. So then I used my keycard to unlock the door. That's probably when he dropped his wallet. When I went into the CEO's office, someone was in there. Someone? Then suddenly they bashed me over the head. Bam! I know exactly who that someone is. It's all come flooding back to me now. I know the plot of this case. Was it Kane Bullard that hit you? No, it wasn't. I don't know. The person ran away while I was still stunned. When I came to my senses, the sight I saw left me speechless. Yeah, Fier just got a vision. That's exactly how it works. All flooding back in. All I needed was a blurry silhouette of a strange person. I know exactly who that is. I know the plot of this case. Oh, it's so good. You guys are gonna see. You guys are gonna see. It's so good. It's so dramatic. Not as dramatic as the last case, but it's very dramatic. When I came to my senses, the sight I saw left me speechless. The dead body of the CEO was right in front of me. I thought I'd die myself. Anyway, I thought I should do something with the body. So that's why you put it in the safe? Yes, that's right. That is also a crime! I used to be the chief of one of the security teams, so I knew how to open it. Okay, and what did you do after that? Well, I got out of there for starters. I was the one who set up the security cameras in that building. So I knew how to avoid being spotted by them. Nick. All of a sudden, Mr. Delight kind of sounds like a murderer to me. Please don't say that. Anyway, he definitely didn't do it. Mr. Delight, is it true that 1 year ago, You were forced to quit KB Security? Ah, how did you... I'm begging you, please don't tell Desi, please! Don't worry, we haven't told anyone yet. Phew, thank goodness. No, but I suppose I'll have to tell her sometime. She'll find out eventually. Why have you been hiding it from her anyway? Well, Desi would despise me if she ever found out I was living a life of crime. A criminal, a thief. She'd never forgive me. My marriage would be over. Knowing that, why did you become a thief in the first place? Because Desi spends money like it's water. There's no job in the world that could bring in enough money, except being a thief. At least, that's what I thought anyway. So he became Max to Mask for Desiree, huh? You guys! He's not Mask to Mask! You know that! He might be. What shall we present to you? So was this blackmail letter written by KB Security's CEO, Kane Bullard? He's a good boy. He is. Godot... You know what? I'm going to start pronouncing it right. Godot told him so. You remember that, chat? You all remember that. Fier, can I hold this man gently? I mean, he's got a wife, but I suppose you could. You'd have to ask. I'm also going to call him a good boy because it's funny. Yeah. I can just kidnap him. I don't think that's polite. Also, she has a motorcycle and we'll crash through your window. You can only get into the CEO's office if you have a key card. The blackmail letter said to meet at KB Security. Then no one else other than Mr. Bullard could have written the letter. And you know what this is? This list. We found it in the office of the CEO, Mr. Bullard. Hey! This is a list of all the things Master Mask stole! And that's the value of each item listed next to them. $100,000, $150,000. Are you sure that's the value of the stolen items? The numbers seem a little low to me. Even on the black market, the prices should be at least 3 times higher than that. I guess he knows about that stuff because he used to be a security guard. No kidnapping, Val! It's true! What was this? Oh, that's Ron Delight back there, right? Hey, this is an article about my debut heist. Boy, that sure was a tough one. Before I knew it, they were hot on my trail. But Master Mask, he must have gotten away, right? It says in the article that he disappeared. That's right! I got a sudden burst of inspiration. I hid my Master Mask costume in a nearby plastic bucket. Then I quickly changed into my security guard uniform. Pretty clever, eh? Wow, awesome! Hey, hold the phone! The guard in this photo. Is that you, Mr. Delight? That's right. Nice trick if I do say so myself. Nice and easy to figure out. Even Pearls could see through that in a heartbeat. Pearls can see through many things because of the ghosts. Okay. But as you might expect, Detective Atme found the disguise. He truly deserves the title Ace Detective. Detective Atme found the Master Mask disguise? That's interesting. Yes, and I heard that he brought it home with him. So that's it. That's when Atme got his hands on this. Thanks to that, I got the chance to remake my costume. That must have been really time-consuming, huh? Yes, it took quite a while to complete. Anyway, a few days after that, I received the first of the blackmail letters. Blackmail letters? What are you talking about? Hurry, tell me what you mean. Hey, calm down. Don't get so worked up. Yes, do tell us. This is a new theme. This is a new theme. Hi, Jelly Bucket. Today is the last day of Steam Spring Sale. Undertale is literally only $1. Excuse me a moment, chat. I have a thing I need to do really bad now. Excuse me. I don't know if I have Undertale in my Steam. I think I played it on Switch on somebody else's account. So if you will kindly excuse me for just a moment. I have a thing to go do. It is $1. Do I own it? Stop that. Stop making noise. I know what Undertale is. Ba ba ba. Do 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 do. And blah blah. Oh, where's the button? There's the button. Chat, thank you for reminding me. Thank you. It's $1 single. I am buying Undertale, and I know you heard that. I know you heard it. I'm in Canada, so it's $1 single and also 9 cents. So are we gonna play Undertale at some point? Why would we do that? Or I mean, why would I do that? Yes, we are. Absolutely. And then I'm gonna go through the spring sale real quick and decide if there's anything else that I desperately need. And yes, we will probably play Undertale at some point because I really like it. I can't bring myself to do a genocide run, chat. I'm so sorry. I can't do it. I want to sometimes. I just can't do it. It does really weird things to the pacifist route if you do a genocide run and then you do a pacifist run. But I can't bear it. I just can't. You can. Technically, okay, so here's what happens. You do a genocide run. You start the game over again, knowing what you know now. You go through, you do as pacifist a run as you can. But when you get to the end, even if you complete a true perfect pacifist run at the end of the game, at the end of Undertale, no you don't. After doing the genocide run. It's great. You can still technically do all the things that are required for a pacifist run. You just get a different weird ending. I personally love it. We will play Undertale someday. To be fair, genocide runs are really boring anyway. You just walk back and forth for 2 hours until you kill all the monsters. I know, right? Seeing a genocide run is what gave me an idea for a game. The game is called 300 Monsters. And within the game, there are, as you would expect, 300 monsters. And your job is to kill 300 monsters. I don't know, but the thing is, the trick of it is that all the monsters are just like, some of them are really easy and some of them are really rare and some of them are just like stupid hard to find. Stuff like that. And I thought that was neat. But then I decided I didn't want to do a game like that because I was like, no, I don't want to kill all the aminals. I want to pet 300 monsters. I want to tame them and put them in my little monster sanctuary, and now we're playing Monster Sanctuary and I don't have to make a game. I'm making a Shimeji instead. I'm gonna do more art for that later. This blackmail letter, is this the first one you got? No, of course not. But this is the first one that ever called me out to a specific location. So, did you start receiving blackmail letters after this incident? Yes, just a few days after the Tear of Emanon heist. That first letter, it said, I know you did it. So someone found out your true identity, just like that? It's not easy being a master thief, you know? I've got proof that it was you, so give up. I went on to say. So in the end, I had to give up the treasure I went through all that trouble to steal. Is that right? Hey, hang on a second. What do you mean you had to give it up? Oh, don't worry. After I put the jewel in the safe deposit box the letter specified, someone sent me $10,000. No one said anything about me being worried, you know? Well, after that, I started getting the plans in the mail. Plans? What are these plans you're talking about? Fear's not a killer when it comes to monsters animals. She's a killer when it comes to the enemy team, though. She's a killer, and a killer is a bad, bad thing to be. He's a giver, and a giver's even worse for folks like she. Oh no, y'all. I only got that like 3/4 of the way through, and then I was like, wait a minute. Oh, that's because the enemy team made the decision to be here. So here's the thing. Aminals and other things that did not make the conscious decision to be in a place for battle, like civilians, those people are fine. They do not risk getting hurt or killed or what have you, because that's not fair to them. They didn't choose to be in battle. And they're not really expecting to be in battle. They're expecting to, like, I don't know, they're aminals. They're expecting to, like, eat some nice tasty grass, or like, maybe they might be expecting to, like, if they're people, they might be expecting to go to the grocery store and get, like, an apple or something. I don't know what people do. I am an octopus. But, like, maybe they'll get some shrimpies for a nice octopus they know. But if you are in battle, you are choosing to engage in battle. You know what you're doing. You made the conscious choice. You signed the terms and conditions. You signed the agreements. You know what you're doing. I don't necessarily need to know why you're doing it, just that you are. And from there, murder time. My internet seems to be angry at Fear today. Oh no. Is it because I'm going on about moral philosophy? Sometimes the internet gets mad when you go on about moral philosophy. Am I an animal or a monster or a fighting creature? Who knows? Who knows? It's true. What are these plans you're talking about? Oh, they were instructions on how to steal a crown or painting or some other rare treasures. They showed security blind spots, escape routes, and even suggested training methods. So you mean that the one who planned the heist wasn't you? No, it wasn't. I only planned the very first one. After that, I received several plans from some very kind person. Incredibly detailed plans. It sounds like Mr. Delight is thankful to the person who was blackmailing him. Sheik requests shrimp sacrifice. Guide. Oh, I suppose the only exception to this is if an aminal is attacking you to try to eat you, then you do whatever you have to. That's not the same quite as engaging in, you know, warfare. But at the same time, sometimes aminals are hungry and you would like to live. And you are 4 centimeters tall. So you gotta run or hit them really hard. So that you don't get eaten. Or you get all squiggly and you can fit through anything that your beak can fit through, and you just get all squiggly and you're like, bye! And you hop right out of their mouth and they're like, excuse me, I was trying to chew that. And you're like, ha 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 ha! Not today! And then you swim away real good. 'Cause that's just the weight of the world. We do what we must to stay alive. That's just the weight of the world.
The weak and the weary will never survive.
That's not true. That's just a good song. Are demons classified as aminals? Demons are demons. They have their own classification. I think of them a little bit more like people. Or like... Well, maybe not people exactly, but very complicated animals. Like how gorillas and elephants you can communicate with if you know how to communicate with them. But like, they don't think in the same way that we do. Then I'm an people. Yes, you're a catoid. If you are capable of speaking to me in a communication structure that I understand, that we both understand and have agreed upon meanings for, then yes, human. What am I? Mod. Amazing. Including the bus home. Human travel containers. Humans. I have a request of all of you humans that ride around in the big travel containers with lots of you inside. Please be good in there. There are rules in there to make sure that everybody has a good time. Please be good and don't be bad. It makes the bus like 20 minutes late. And by that I mean, please don't eat and drink on your human travel container. Because you can spill that stuff and it gets everywhere and then the bus driver has to clean it all up. Also, don't knock people over in there. Let them get off the bus. Anyway, I am 4 centimeters tall, so when I ride the bus, I get to ride up front. I just kind of hop up as well as I can. Usually, if there's a very good bus driver, they will just pick me up and put me on the dashboard and let me ride around. And then I just tell them when I need to get off the bus. That's very nice of them. And easier to secure me than securing the wheelchairs. My species? Star. I'm a star.
Haven't you noticed that I'm a star coming into view as the world is turning? Haven't you noticed I've made it this far? Now everyone can see me burning. Now everyone can see me burning.
Never quite get that little bit. Anyway, it sounds like Mr. Delight is thankful to the person that was blackmailing him.
So Ron Delight was Master Mask after all? But someone else is behind the thefts. Someone who planned it all out in detail.
Yeah, Luke at me.
All I had to do was deposit the treasures I stole into the safe deposit box. Then I just waited for the cash to come in the mail. Could you try not to look so gleeful about it?
So you went after the sacred urn because of those plans too?
Well, see, truth is, I've never seen the urn. All I did was follow the instructions and steal what I was told to steal. Mr. Delight, is everything you've told me the truth?
Yes. But please don't tell Desi, okay?
Oh, baby. Ron, before we go, there's one more thing I want to ask you.
Yes? But please don't hurt me.
Mr. Kane Bullard, do you swear it wasn't you who killed him?
Yes, of course! I could never... I'm not lying! All I did was hide his body in the safe. That is still a crime! That is still a crime.
Guys, that's still criminal.
That's still a crime. He's still going to jail.
But then I was afraid they'd discover what I did, so I turned myself in yesterday.
Nope, no body, no crime. It's science. He didn't murder the guy. But he's still a crab apple. Not a crab, though. He's too sweet. That's true. He did... But there is a body. He did do a crime. He didn't kill anybody, but he can't just hide the body like that. Ooh, ah.
Why? Well, if the judge had ruled that I was guilty of robbery, then I'd have an alibi, right? I guess so. You're really clever, Mr. Delight. I guess I have no choice but to take Mr. Delight at his word.
Mystic Maya! Hey, Pearly! I'm back! Hey, Pearls. So what have you been up to this whole time? The sacred urn, Mr. Nick. I took it back to Curine Village to have it examined. And? What did you find out? Well, there's no need to worry. They said that it's the real urn. Whew! That's a relief. I was really worried. But there's one small problem. Problem? These cute little pink splotches. They said that it's paint, and that they were put on the urn recently.
Why are we talking about the pink splotches again? What's the big deal?
What's the big deal?
We've got to find out how they got there. That's the big deal.
Yes, Mr. Nick, we've got to find out how they got there.
Okay. We'll go find out how they got there.
Please don't forget about me.
Okay, we have the urn back. We can show her the urn. We're going to show her the urn. We won't forget you, Ron. Though we did immediately leave. Oh, he's an adorable criminal. I don't think he'll go to jail over it because that's not how this game works. Oh, Pearl, how nice to see you.
Hello there.
I haven't seen you around lately. What have you been up to?
Well, actually, I was having this urn examined.
I see. Maybe if we take another good look at this urn, we can figure out the mystery of what actually happened here.
Nick, let's look around one more time.
Yes! Now that we know there's paint on the urn, we can look. This box. There's something about it that's bothering me.
That's the box that the sacred urn was in. It looks like there's some pink paint on it, too.
And it's definitely the same color as the stuff on the urn. I think I know how the paint got on it now.
Alright, let's investigate again, Nick.
Oh, there's... Oh, wait, no. There's paint over here. It looks to me like it's been dry for several days. There's something suspicious about this paint mark. The bottom left part is shaped oddly and it's shockingly pink.
Mr. Nick, could it be that this odd shape is?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it.
Ah!
That's the box the sacred urn was in. If you look here, there's a little bit of paint on the box as well.
Wow, you're right. Look, it matches. What is it, Mr. Nick?
This is all turning out exactly as I thought it would. I think it's all starting to become clear. We're that much closer to solving the mystery of what happened to the urn. The statue wasn't where it is now when we first came here, right?
Yeah, it was right next to the door, wasn't it?
Well, if someone moved it, it was probably Master Mask.
Maybe he didn't like being watched by the Mystic Amy while he stole the urn.
Hey, cut it out. You're giving me the creeps with that kind of talk. Is there anything else? I can't examine the paint cans. Is that the sign or the cans? That's the sign. Oh, court record time. Okay. I think we're gonna try Adrian again. I owe a great deal of thanks to that badge. It's the only reason that I'm still here today. Oh, come on now. That's not true.
I think what Nick means to say is, it wasn't thanks to the badge, it was thanks to me.
Tell the truth, Nick. I know that's what you were thinking. No way, Maya. That's not what I was trying to present. Appreciate that you're happy with us, Adrian, that we got you out of a jam last time. But, ma'am, You pick some bad company. This time we've got what we need, because we've got the actual urn. Okay. Miss Andrews, do you know anything about the sacred urn? Do I know anything? I'm in charge of the entire treasure exhibit. The urn that was submitted before the court today. It's obviously not the same urn as before. Well, that's true. Maybe it isn't the same. It could be a fake. A fake. You're the one who said it wasn't the same, so that's the most obvious explanation. Do you have any evidence that the urn that was submitted at the trial was genuine? We do. But, the urn itself. Sorry to break it to you, but the urn is the genuine article. Pearls went back to Korean Village and had it examined. Is that right? That's nice, but I don't see how... What she discovered was that the vase was broken. Again. Did you say again? Yes. It was broken once a year ago. And now it looks like the same thing has happened. And quite recently, too. Recently? Are you saying that this urn was broken recently? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Why do you think it was broken recently? How would you know? Darn it. I guess I probably should have presented the urn or something. Or maybe... Oh! The treasure exhibit poster! I bet it's that. I bet we can... I'm a little too fast with... Well, it was broken recently. Come on, you know it. I'm not willing to yield to you on this point. Get a grip, please! Now I ask you one more time, Mr. Wright. Why do you think it was broken recently? How do you know? It's definitely the exhibit poster. Yeah, I have this problem sometimes with these where, like, I know what the answer is, but I haven't been asked the question yet, so I'm just blurting stuff out. This poster. It was made recently, right? Poster? Ah, the poster for the exhibit. At the time when this photo was taken, the urn said, "I am" on it. And now, for some mysterious reason, it says Amy, which is what it's supposed to say, chat. When the urn was fixed, the letters were transposed. Ah! I am? What does that even mean? I don't know anything about that. I wasn't even there when the photo for this poster was taken. That was a mistake. Now, tell the truth. Wait! 4? Even if the urn was broken, I had nothing to do with it. Huh? Yes, that's it! It must have been one of the people at the photo shoot. They probably dropped it. I'm sure that's what happened. Adrian, did you break this urn? Honey, did you break this urn? Did you break it? Do you have any proof that the urn was broken here at Lordly Taylor? Can I just present the urn again? I feel like I could just present... Wait, no, I think I need to present... I think this is where I need to present the paint marks. I think it was a little ahead. Yeah, okay, I'm on to you now. Paint marks, then the box. That's probably where we're at. Well, Miss Andrews? What is this supposed to mean? There's pink paint all over this urn. And there's pink paint all over the floor and the walls of the basement warehouse. In other words, this urn was broken there. You can't weasel out of this one, Miss Andrews. But... Uh-oh. She's trying to make her escape. But you can get pink paint anywhere. Well, there's none in my office, that's for sure. Well, there is in my room. Liar. Anyway, the paint on the urn and the paint on the floor, there's no proof that they're the same paint. Come on, this is getting ridiculous. The proof linking the paint to the urn to the paint on the floor is the urn box. Amazing. I'm a wizard. This box. The urn was stored in this, right? Oh, Adrian, they're the same color. Corporate needs you to tell the difference between these two paints. Also, I love, corporate needs you to tell the difference between these two, X and Y. I also love corporate needs to tell you to tell the difference between these two shades, and it's eggshell and cream. And I'm just like, that's the same color. You're lying to me. Yes. You got an idea. Is it... Did the Grinch get a wonderful, awful idea? Give me like 6 minutes. Okay. It's currently 8:55. I'll do it. I'll time it. I won't actually time it. Yeah, I won't remember. This box. The urn was stored in this, right? Yes, that's right. Well, there's pink paint on the box as well. Ah! I think you already know where I'm going with this, don't you? Yes, more or less. The paint on the floor has an odd shape imprinted into it, doesn't it? Yes. If you put the box into the impression in the paint, you can see it fits perfectly. Which means this box was dropped right there. And that is when the urn was broken. Your name does you justice, Mr. Wright. Oh, thank goodness it fills my bar back up. I was so scared. Okay, tell us about the urn. I'm so sorry. I was the one who broke the urn. Boy, does this make me feel like some sort of evil school teacher. I'd like you to know there's an official playlist for Loop, and Introduction to the Snow is in there. Amazing. I'm a terrible person. Not only did I break it, but I tried to hide what I did. Well, that's not so hard to understand, is it, Pearly? No, not at all. I know just how she feels. It happened about 2 weeks ago, just after the poster photo was taken on the same day the urn arrived here. I thought I'd put it away down here for safekeeping. I was carrying it in the box when I tripped on a paint can and lost my balance. The box I was carrying crashed to the ground. I heard a terrible noise and I thought my heart was going to stop. Fearing the worst, I opened the lid of the box and that's when it happened. The broken pieces of the urn fell out of the box and landed right in the paint. Oh, the ashes all landed in there too, didn't they? I was in shock and let out a huge scream. I can totally see how that could have happened. Yeah, as clumsy as she is, I'm sure Maya understands. Rude. Well, I knew it was the most important treasure in all of Crane Village. So I tried as hard as I could to fix it. Fortunately, the shards were pretty big. And that's where the I am got changed to Amy. I didn't know how it was originally written. But any sane person fixing it would have assumed it said Amy. Any sane person? Really? Pearl, honey, you're too little to read. So, I will tell you this right now. This is, a little less mean in the Japanese version. Because, like, what she says is closer to, like... well, anybody who can read would know that it says Amy. But, like, read kanji is the idea there. Pearl is 8 years old. She can't read kanji yet. I mean, she can read some of them. She should be able to. But she can't read, like, the complicated ones. And this is complicated old-fashioned stuff that's written on this urn. So, she put, like, a simpler, something more simple and common, where it's a bit more poetic, is sort of the idea. So it's a little less mean, but it still kind of hurts her feelings. That's why we still get Pearl looking like this, but it's a little less mean than any sane person would have known. She's baby. Alright, we hydrate as chat demands. Oh, and a big stretch. Big stretch. Oh, you sent it to me? What did you send to me?
Corporate needs you to find the difference between this picture and this picture. That's the same picture. Oh, I see. I see what we've done here. Okay. Ugh. We're gonna do some arm circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, excuse me. You're not wrong. It's true facts. Oh, Pearls. She said she wasn't very good at spelling. She wasn't very good at reading kanji. Which, I guess it translates into spelling, but like, that's one of those things that they had to translate somehow, so they did the best they could with what they had, but it doesn't really translate, if you know what, like, it doesn't quite get there, but there's nothing else they could do when they Americanized it. Yeah, I like bringing those things up, because sometimes the vibe doesn't get quite through. Like, it does if you know what to look for. If you're like me and you already know, at least you already have a cursory understanding of, like, I say cursory. You know what I mean. If you're like me and you already have a general understanding of, like, what's going on, and well, maybe deeper than general. Sometimes I don't realize. Sometimes I get a bad case of, and surely the layperson, we must remember that the layperson only knows, like, one type of rock. Two at best. Like, get like that. Anyway, I put the urn into the storeroom and no one had seen it since. Okay. But that's something I don't get. When we first came here, I didn't see any paint stains. Well, that's because it was so ugly and embarrassing. I used the golden statue to cover it. The Amy Faye statue. Aha! Alone at the edge of the universe, humming a tune, or merely dreaming we were snow. A siren sounds like the goddess of endless apologies of paradise. Nope, I don't know the rest of the intro. Haven't sung along to it with it enough yet. You ever have a character that makes you just curl up into a ball and cry a little? Yes. I don't know if you know this, but I make OCs for horror things. And I have a lot of horror stories to write. Sometimes I feel bad about it. Also, Mark exists. Mark doesn't make me curl up in a ball and cry a little, because I know he's going to be okay. But with horror stories, my protagonist isn't always going to be okay, and they don't always deserve it. Like, so here's the thing about horror stories. Sometimes the horror comes from the thing happening at all. It's scary because it is. And that can have any protagonist you want. The horror is what it is, and it's scary because it exists. Is a spooky monster thing. Like, we know the spooky monster thing. The protagonists are often people who are kind of jerks anyway. See also Marble Hornets. See also, where, like, where, TBH, they're kind of jerks. That series could have been solved if people would contact each other and communicate. But they don't. Or like any slasher movie. Slasher movies, whether the monster is just a dude, or whether the monster is a supernatural figure, are scary because they're happening. They're not scary because of anything. Like, well, I mean, they are scary for other reasons. But they're generally scary because they're happening. It wouldn't matter your protagonist, it would still be frightening. The thing is that there's another type of horror. And that other type of horror is scary. Well, there are many types of horror, but there's another type of horror that does make me really upset. And this is going to be really hard to explain because it's a very complicated sentiment that I don't have the words to quite articulate properly. But it boils down to bad things happen to good people who do not deserve them. For instance, the cube. The cube hurts me in ways I can't quite explain. I spent all my time wanting that nice nerdy girl to be able to get out of there. She suffered. She suffered terribly throughout that whole thing. And I was like, please, honey, you can do it. Oh, the cube? What's that? Oh, oh boy. Welcome to me introducing a new generation to the cube. No, you won't like it. It is a horror movie that is actually secretly a philosophical thing. You can watch it if you want. It's not terrible. It is a low-ish, I'm gonna say low. It is a fairly low-budget Canadian horror movie. Hate, let me tell you how much I've come to hate getting Minecraft mods to work, lol. It is a fairly low-budget Canadian horror movie. There are sequels to it, which I have never seen and probably won't because I've heard how they are. The cube is, 6 people? Yeah. 6 people are trapped in a cube. It's a box. Every so often it shifts and, try and imagine like Saw, but proto-Saw. So every so often it shifts and they come to a new place and there's a trap in there. And they've been going along, and they go along through the different rooms and they're trying to get out. The people are different archetypes and it doesn't even matter what their names are because I didn't commit them to memory and it super doesn't matter because they're there for their archetypes. I don't know how to explain their archetypes because you've got to remember that this was made in the early 90s and it is not the most... It's a horror movie. It is not going to be the most sensitive piece of media you ever saw in your life. And in fact, the cube is not expressly particularly mean, but it's got a thing to say, and the thing it has to say is the world is really bleak and messed up. The world's really bleak and messed up, and the thing the cube wants to say is that is somehow incredibly conservative. Like a lot of horror movies swing with the political climate. Sorry about ad jail. I'm telling you guys about horror flicks anyway. Horror movies swing with the political climate. When people are... I know, right? Honestly, like, I know you're probably joking, like a horror movie being conservative. I know you're probably trying to joke, but that's actually weird. Most horror movies aren't, most horror movies, though they will hold up the morality and opinions of society, are not actually super conservative. And they don't tend to espouse what we would consider to be conservative views. And that's because the people who make and engage with horror, oftentimes, are people who live through it day to day. There's this joke that runs around, queer circles that is basically like, if you're ever feeling upset or down, just watch a horror movie because then at least the scary stuff makes sense. But there's some truth to that. You're already used to living uncomfortably. You're already used to walking around not necessarily knowing if you are safe. So, what's a horror movie gonna do? Introduce that feeling to you? Oh no! Ooh woo, oh wah! I'm 4 centimeters tall. When am I ever safe? Munch, munch, munch. I am the same size as a Timbit. I know this. I have photographic evidence that I am the same size as a Timbit. Anyway, I got way off track because what I was talking about is that type of horror that scares me that kind of just like boils down to bad things happen to good people who don't deserve them. The Cube is a prime example of that because Glasses Girl was doing her very best. She should have got to live and I got upset that she didn't. And now it's the only example I can think of like that, but there's plenty. It's especially prevalent when we don't share the same cultural backgrounds. So, like, watching a Japanese horror movie and seeing who gets punished and who doesn't, you're like, excuse me? Hello? They didn't do anything wrong? What are you doing? Because slasher flicks are always about that. Not always, but sometimes. Most of the time. Oh gosh. Not High Tension. That movie was terrible. The French version was pretty alright. Oh, Wreck. Wreck is another example where I'm like, that didn't need to happen that way. These are firefighters. They came into a building to save lives. The television crew of 2 people are also just like fun, silly, like they're doing a personal interest story. Interviewing firefighters. They did not deserve that. None of those people deserved what they got. Which was horrible zombie sickness. Like, I have a whole list of you didn't deserve that. Although I do still love Wreck, even though it's depressing at the end. Oh, right. We were playing a video game and I wasn't just chatting about horror on a night other than Tuesday. Tuesday is horror night. Oh, we're gonna play some horror demos on Tuesday, I think. If we get through, Idol. If we get through Golden Idol. I have a horror demo that I really want to play. That's Cthulhu flavored that I think you guys will like. Maybe you won't. I don't know. It plays like Myst. Or like, Barrow Hill. And I like that for it. And, the Kickstarter got funded. Oh, the Kickstarter got funded. It's called My Father Lied. And, so you know how in America, right? You know how in the Western world in general, we looked over at anything that wasn't that and said, ah, yes, the scary part. And for a long time, that scary part was mummies from Egypt getting up out of the crypt and being like, I'm trying to kill you. And then for a little while, that scary thing was Dracula's doing the same thing. We love undead creatures. And then after that, we were like, yes, Paimon, a demon. And most people were like, you sure about that? The windy boy? The demon? All right, the Western Hemisphere. You have fun with that. You do you, I guess. It's not true, but okay, have fun. And stuff like that. So the game is made by people who actually live in the gosh darned area that we keep mining for horror tropes. So, like, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see. I hope the horror is American imperialism. That's usually the horror these days. Except in America. Where the horror is usually more Red Dawn or zombies. The first time that we came down here, it was on the night that the Sacred Urn was stolen. You don't have to apologize. You didn't pick where you were born. Right? Humans don't pick where they're born, right? Staff! Staff, do humans pick where they're born? What do you mean what I mean pick where they're born? I mean like, do you wake up and be like, yes, I would like to be born right there? What do you mean before you're alive? What do you mean you don't do anything before you're alive? Oh no, they're arguing about philosophy. Anyway, I'm gonna let them argue about philosophy. They're arguing something about whether there are souls and if souls exist without the human person or something. I'll let them figure that one out. It can't be that complicated, but the long story short is I don't think you get to pick where you're born. Or at least if you do, you don't know that you did. So, here you are. I want to be born in Canada. I want to be born in the sea. Oh wait, I was. Put me back in the ocean. Oh, they're still arguing about philosophy. They're not paying attention to me. It was on that night that the sacred urn was stolen. But, Mr. Nick, there was no paint marks on the wall of the warehouse when we were here.
Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. And?
Of course there's souls. If there wasn't, we wouldn't have Dark Souls 3 for the PlayStation. Ah, good point. I want to be in Canada too, or Australia. If you want to be in Australia, be in New Zealand instead. It's like Australia's Canada. Where they're sensible. You can all come to Canada. We're cool. I highly suggest that if you are going to come to Canada, you do, like, you go to school here for a little bit, just to see if you like it. And then if you do like it, you'll have the schooling to stay. We also offer significant amounts of, like, scholarships and help if you're here for a medical profession. We have nationalized healthcare, but sometimes that makes it difficult to keep doctors here because doctors are like, oh boy, I did my healthcare degree. I would like to make money for that. And they'll go into private equity. I hear it's really difficult to get permanent residence in New Zealand. Probably. If New Zealand is like Canada, it's tricky to get permanent residence. We're very picky about who we let in. Like in America, you can roll the dice, get in on the lottery, and have your green card. That's your card that says you're allowed to stay, right? Right. Yeah. Unless inexplicably they decide you don't get to stay, but that's another problem for a different day. Can I be let in? I mean, get you some good grades and go to school come here for school. And then we'll figure it out from there. We'll get you your PR. I'll help you study for it. I'll help any of you study for a PR for Canada. I know Canadian history. I had to. Back when I was very small, 1 whole centimeter tall. Back when I was very small, there was a time when, because Canada was, apparently y'all are accepting asylum for LGBTQ people currently, so yes, we are. Asylum seekers are allowed to cross the border just fine. We take refugees here. We are accepting American asylum seekers as well. To the best of my understanding. And thankfully, because you live in the US, you can prove that both you are in danger and also that you are queer. It works out. Some places it's really hard because, like, the death penalty is what you get. So it's really hard to prove that. You can easily prove that if it were true that you were queer, you're in danger, but it's really hard to prove, oh, by the by, I am in fact bi. Like, it's really hard to prove that sometimes. But you guys live in the States, so it's a little easier. Right, I was playing the video game. What is it about Phoenix Wright that gets me so off track? I think it's because I can just stop midway through. It doesn't, like, keep going. I realized that the statue would be the perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it. Because it's boring. Oh no! I'm gonna level with you. I read that in my mind in the voice I gave to Sparks when I was reading. Boring! I read that in the robot voice. Exactly, you get it. That is proof enough. That's plenty of proof to say, hey, I am living my best life, thanks. I'm not Sparks. She's not me. You're right. She's a robot. You're a mod. I see. Now it makes perfect sense. But there's still one thing I find strange. What's that, Pearl? The day after the urn was stolen, we came here again. And at that time, the statue had been moved and the paint was clearly visible.
She's right about that. Ivy sat paper crafts. Is that enough?
You also have a long track record with. You also have a long track record. I keep trying to get it out. With a queer little octopus. I wanted to say with a gay little octopus because I think it rolls better off the tongue, but then I was like, no, wait, hold on. That is entirely inaccurate. Well, Miss Andrews? What? I don't know anything about that. I placed it there to cover up the paint, so why would I move it again? Well, then who was it? Who would have done it and why? On the day before the theft, the statue was definitely closer to the door. Then the next day, it was moved. But why? I think we might have gotten through the investigation part. It looks like there's some connection between the sacred urn and the murder case. Why? Why do you think so, Nick? Because that night, the real thief, Ron Delight, was at KB Security. So then why did another Master Mask show up here? A lot of different things are pointing to one undeniable fact. One undeniable fact? The murder trial is starting tomorrow. It looks like that thief is going to be making another appearance. I know exactly how this went. I know who's to blame. I know who did what. Okay, here we are. Hey, Nick. What is it this time? You won't believe how many people are here for the trial. Well, it is a murder case. What are you talking about? They're here for the trial next door.
Next door?
Why don't you know this, Nick? They're having Detective Atmy's trial today.
Detective Atmy?
They say they're going to try him as Master Mask.
Already? That was fast.
Boy, I'd love to see Master Mask's trial.
I know.
By the way, where's Pearls? Oh, she went back home. She said she can't neglect her training anymore.
I know you don't like me.
Pearls has really gotten into her training lately, huh? Yeah, ever since that incident last year. Please, don't ignore me. Oh, Mr. Delight, good morning. No one likes me. No one would notice me, even if I killed someone. Come on, don't be silly. Wait a sec.
You don't mean you're the murderer?
No, I'm just a poor thief. No, wait, that's not right. A thief can't really be poor. Yeah, they can. See also Therion. Therion? Yeah, Therion. That poor man is very poor indeed. He's not even a good thief. We're gonna play we're gonna play the Traveler game with all the people in it. 8 of them. We're gonna do it. I'll let you guys vote on who to start as. We need a spin-off called Pan Attorney, but he just specializes in pancake-related crimes. Pan Attorney, but he solves cooking crimes. He comes in and he's like, someone put bacon on this pizza. And everyone goes, yeah, bacon's allowed. That's a Canadian pizza. And then he goes, oh yeah, you're right. That's not actually a food crime. Tressa is Bessa. We love Tressa. A thief. She's not really a thief. I love her rival. I can't remember his name, but you guys are going to love him too. He's beautiful. We'll play Octopath at some point. I also have Octopath 2. I haven't played it yet, so we'll play that one fresh. But we'll play Octopath. I will try my very hardest to get through the final boss. I will set up a team. I will do my very best. Even on easy difficulty, the final boss is insane. But the pizza was made in Italy, where it is a food crime. Food crime! Someone's made that chowder with tomatoes. That's not a food crime, that's a regional variation. Food crime! It's true, it's a food crime. Chowder is made with milk. Cream, usually. And I will fight people who tell me it isn't. That's how fish chowder is made. That's how seafood chowder is made. I don't care. Tomatoes. You don't make seafood chowder out of tomatoes. That's silly. Silly and weird. It's not actually weird. It really is just a regional variation. But I like cream better. Also, I have learned something. I have learned that when I say hodgepodge, there are so many regional variations on hodgepodge, and the one that I know is not any of them. Or, more accurately, is extremely specific to the area it lives in. Y'all, when I say the words hodgepodge, what food are you thinking of? Describe the food that you would eat if you were eating hodgepodge. Because now I'm curious to see what chat says about it. And then I'll tell you what hodgepodge is to me. It's gonna be great. Now let's see. According to Mr. Delight, from a second crime on, he was following a bunch of set plans. Plans that someone had been sending him to help him commit his heist. Do you think there's a connection between the thief and the murder, Nick? Okay, collections of fruit, cheeses, meats, crackers, etc., little snacks. A jumbled mess of random things. It is a food thing still. It's possible, but today's trial is a race against the clock. Huh? How come? Let's just take our time like always. I'm afraid that's not an option. Why is it a race against time? Is it the third day of the trial? Is this counting as the third day of his trial? Okay, chat. Chat, I'll tell you many things that hodgepodge could be. Hodgepodge is a sort of beef stew made with wine and whatever spices and vegetables you still have left over that match, that you just simmer on low for a while. Hodgepodge is a soup dish that you make with whatever stock you have. Potatoes, corn, and usually a meat of some kind, though most often it's bacon. And the broth is just either chicken or beef. Hodgepodge is a rice dish where you just chuck everything into the rice and you cook it a little bit like a congee, actually. None of those things are hodgepodge, as far as I know, but that's what'll come up if you Google it. Hodgepodge, as I know it, is okay. So you take cream, right, and you thicken it like it's a chowder, and then you put fresh vegetables into it. You don't have to thicken it either. If you want it lighter, if you want it even lighter than that, you warm some milk. And you cook the vegetables in that milk, and then you serve it. That's hodgepodge. Usually those vegetables are beans. Beans and other like quick to cook green things. Green and yellow things, colorful things. You can chop up carrots really small and put them in there. You don't usually, but you can. So anyway, I needed to tell you all that. I needed you to know what hodgepodge was. And that no one can agree on what hodgepodge is, and that's why we can't have a court of food crimes. Though if we did have a court of food crimes, Paul Hollywood would go up on trial, and we would all laugh at his inexplicably bad understanding of what food is. Do you know what Do you know what this man said about s'mores? I need to tell you. I need to explain to you. This is a thing that has bothered me for ages ever since I found out. Fear, do I have to go on food court trial? No. This is a thing that has bothered me for ages. So do you know what Paul Hollywood thinks a s'more is? Italian meringue sandwiched between 2 digestive biscuits with a thin layer of chocolate on one side of each biscuit. This is a man who said, you have to apply the blowtorch carefully because we don't want it to be a mess, to make a big mess. My dude. I know you live in England. I know England doesn't have graham crackers. This is a weird true fact. England doesn't really have graham crackers. Those are an expressly American invention. But, my dude, my guy, we don't want it to be a sticky mess. Honey, that's not a s'more. You'd serve that man an actual s'more and he'd be like, this is terrible, the worst. And you'd be like, this is a s'more. You know, being an ESAP fan on TikTok is weird because what do you mean half my ESAP moots are over 20? Well, here's the thing about In Stars in Time. It really encapsulates the feeling that you have. In Stars in Time really encapsulates a couple of feelings. One of them is social anxiety, and the other one is not living up to your potential, and that feeling that you're not living up to your potential where your friends have all moved on. And that's a feeling you feel really strongly when you hit the end of your graduate year of university, and even when you hit the end of high school, you get that feeling hard. Because when you come out of high school, you don't have any friends anymore. You swear up and down after summer you will all still be friends, and you all go to different schools, and no, you aren't. So, like, it's gonna hit a lot of people that are over, like, that are in their mid-20s, early 30s. I feel that all the time. Is that not normal? I have terrible news for you. It is normal, but to feel that way all the time, constantly, forever, might be a little outside the usual. Alright, we're back to the trial now. After I peel back the layers of the metaphorical brain. Why must the universe harm me like this? What did I do? Had to be nerfed! Too powerful! Listen, we can't be invincible. We can't be invincible. Second one in the Kraken. Too powerful. Too much? Too strong? Too strong! I'm not powerful. Yeah, because you got nerfed. That's what happened. One less shot out of the machine. You got nerfed. I'm helping. Helping. Oh yeah, I'm helping a man not get convicted of murder. Just the lesser charge of messing around with a crime scene when he shouldn't.
Court is now in session for the trial of Raw and Delight.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
You're ready? Preparation is the last refuge of the weak.
Godot, do you mean you did not prepare at all? Okay. Because, like, I'm pretty sure you did. Literally, you had a whole trial with this where you were, like, leading us along to an answer you wanted us to pick so that you could get to this trial. Because you knew. My guy, preparation is the last refuge for the weak? That is, like, the you were playing 5D chess, my guy. Anyway.
Okay, settle down, everyone. Let's begin with your opening statement, Mr. Godot. He's got the judge in the palm of his hands, yet again. Ron Delight is simply too young to be sent to war. That's all. Yeah, I'm afraid I have no idea what that means, Mr. Godot. Ah, then you need to get out more, Your Honor. Life is war, but that is exactly why you must be precise in your wording. That's all my statement means. You understand now, right? Yes. Well then, let me briefly summarize the details of this case.
Wow, the judge is taking charge like he knows what's going on for a change.
The victim is Kane Bullard, CEO of KB Security. His body was found in a safe at approximately 9 a.m. on the morning of the 13th. However, the time of death was estimated as 1 a.m. of the previous day. And that's when our lost...
Oh, no!
And that's when our little lost kitten dropped the ball. That little lost kitten is, of course, the defendant.
Oh, dear.
Very well then, Mr. Godot. Please call your first witness. I never drink more than 17 cups of coffee during any given trial. But the first one is always the best.
17 cups of coffee? My guy, your heart must be hammering like a little hummingbird's wings. Tum 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 tum. Like, you know how many... Wait. I wonder if it's decaf. 17 cups of decaf coffee, while not completely uncaffeinated, wouldn't be fatal. Where is he putting that coffee cup?
Okay then, let's hear what the defendant, Mr. Ron Delight, has to say for himself. The defendant? Well, Mr. Wright, does the defense have any objections? It may be a bit of a disadvantage having the defendant testify, but...
I remember when Mia was defending me. She allowed me to testify so that she could do a cross-examination. She put a lot of trust in me back then. We have no objections, Your Honor. The defense will allow Mr. Delight to testify.
Ha! You've got guts, Trite. All right then, Mr. Ron Delight, please take the stand. You did it, didn't you?
Yes. What? No. That's not true.
For a moment there, I thought we'd set the record for the shortest trial ever.
Wow, Mr. Delight already looks plenty guilty with the face he's making. And once he opens his big mouth, he'll probably put the last nail in his own coffin.
Ha! Very well. Now then, can you tell me something? If you didn't kill Bullard, why did you go to KB Security?
Well, that's kind of hard to say. Boy, I wish I could go home.
Now then, let's hear some testimony about what happened.
That evening, around 1 a.m., I went to see Mr. Bullard in his office at KB Security. The blackmail letter I got, it ordered me to go there. I'd been working for KB Security until a year ago, so I knew where his office was.
1 a.m., the exact time the murder took place. The weak get washed away by the tides of fate. The strong drink it up.
That's coffee number 2, chat. Let's count Godot's coffees today. That's coffee number 2.
Huh. It's bitter today, too. Just like my destiny.
You'd never know that from the way he's chugging it down.
Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you please.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a minute, chat. I know what we can do. I know exactly what we can do.
Hang on. Oh, maybe I should have made it bigger. TBH, though, I kind of like it at that size. Okay, we did it. Coffee counter 2. I remember the cursed shield. I hated it. You liked it. You liked it better when it was no longer cursed. You liked the paladin shield, right? Sorry that I marched around killing so many squirrels.
Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you please.
I do. I liked it when I wasn't in danger due to it. Well, that evening, around 1 a.m., I went to see Mr. Bullard at his office at KB Security. 1 a.m., huh? You're absolutely sure about that? Yes, that's what my watch said when I was entering the CEO's office. No. Actually, I'm not really sure. My watch was slow, and my internal clock was also a bit...
1 a.m. That's the exact time the victim, Mr. Bullard, was murdered, correct? It's too late for a coffee date, that's for sure.
Thanks, Godot. The blackmail letter I got, it ordered me to go there. It ordered you to go there? It was the first time I'd gotten a blackmail letter that ordered me to go somewhere.
Well, does that mean you've gotten other blackmail letters then?
Oh, of course. They'd say things like, steal this, or take that. Well, why don't you save those for later, Mr. Delight?
Please don't say any more.
You ever have a client in court and you're like, wow, I really wish he would stop that? Reopening his mouth? Now, what should I do? Press harder! Always press harder. This isn't Danganronpa. So, what did the blackmail letter in question say? Well, it said to bring 50,000.
Money, eh? A perfect motive for committing murder.
Oh, but wait! I never intended to pay that money anyway.
Oh, is that right?
Well, after all, he had nothing to hold over my head. I had nothing to be afraid of.
An important point indeed. Witness, let's have that added to your testimony.
Yes, sir.
Huh.
A muddy mud skipper in outer space has a better chance of surviving than I do. Actually, a muddy mud skipper would have a pretty good chance. Just what were you being blackmailed about anyway?
Well, the blackmail letter said if you don't want your identity revealed, correct?
This is Danganronpa, just with full-grown adults and less Pepto-Bismol. Ha! Oh, I mean specifically this isn't Danganronpa because I can press every single statement and they won't punish me for it. Danganronpa punishes you for it. If you do the Phoenix Wright thing in Danganronpa, that girl will kill you. She'd die. A lot of murder. Sometimes when you play Danganronpa, you have to leave well enough alone. And I'm very bad at that because I like to play video games. That's also why I haven't played another game with you guys. There's another game that always, the name always escapes me. Oh, come on, brain. So, it's an FMV game. But it's modern. It's just in the style of the FMV games. For those of you that don't know what an FMV game was, which I've realized maybe you don't, FMV games were games where, they would actually, like, straight up tape, they would tape the scenes, like a TV show. And different inputs in the game would get you to different scenes, and different scenes would happen in different places and stuff. They were usually escape room style things. There is, of course, the very famous one that got brought up before Congress as here's an example of a bad time. We don't like this. It's mean and it's just about killing pretty ladies. And they brought it up and everyone else was like, there is one scene that is a game over that, like, you would have to be trying on purpose to get. This is actually not about hurting anybody. This is about saving everyone's lives that lives that's in this hotel. I don't... Where are you going with this?
Yeah, like that. It's in that style, and the deal with it is that you are a psychologist. Yeah, Night Trap! The deal with it is that you are a psychologist, and you have 6 patients, and your job is to ask them questions and treat them. The thing is that one of them murdered the previous psychologist. It's random which one it is, but one of them did. One of them did kill the previous psychologist. Yeah! I don't remember what it's called. It's like the patients of... then the doctor's name, I think. Or something like that. But... the thing is that one of those patients did kill you. Or rather, did kill the previous psychologist. You might be the previous psychologist. Because, all of them think they have eldritch powers. If you push them really hard, like if you push every single thing that they think about and tell you, they'll tell you more details about how their cool superpowers work. And the more details they tell you about how their cool superpowers work, the more they think they have them. So, like, it's legitimately in your best interest not to press them about the weird superpowers that they might have. Because if you don't, as with all eldritch things, they just, like, are like, oh, what a weird dream, and it leaves them alone. And it's great. The one playthrough of it that I saw, the redheaded girl was the murderer, and she thinks she's a siren, and I love that. A 10 out of 10. But any of them can do the crime. Yeah, it's really cool. So it's a different game every time you play it. Also, there are a bunch of different, like, things that you yourself can be. There are things to suggest that you are the psychologist, that you weren't murdered in the first place. Or more accurately, that you were murdered, you just didn't stay dead. There's ones to suggest that, like, you're the psychologist, like, you're just a normal dude replacing the psychologist. There's ones for, like... I think there's one where you're like, oh, what is it? There's one where you're not the psychologist, but like you're not the psychologist. I don't know how to explain. Like your body isn't the. You know what? You're Elias. You are to the psychologist before as Elias is to Jonah Magnus. Right. We were playing a more different game where we solve murder.
The blackmail letter said if you don't want your identity revealed, correct?
I'm sure it was referring to the whole mask to mask thing. But I wasn't worried. Mr. Bullard didn't have anything on me.
He didn't?
Well, anyway, I don't care what anyone says about me. Just as long as Jesse believes in me.
So that's why Ms. Delight didn't believe he was mask to mask.
That's why I knew they were just hollow threats. I'd been working for KB Security until a year ago, so I knew where his office was. Okay. Tell me why you were fired. You used to be a security chief for KB Security, right? Yes, that's right.
A security chief? You?
And yet, a year ago, you were fired without notice. Revenge for an old grudge? A perfect motive for murder, wouldn't you say? This isn't good. Maybe I should change the subject. Mr. Delight, please tell us why you were fired from your job. I was fired for being too cool.
Well,
The world is filled with those who have said, I wish I had never asked that.
oh, okay, then I take it back.
Defendant, please answer the question.
Well, I needed the money.
You needed the money?
I was fired for not being human. Oh no. They're not allowed to do that to you. Well, you see, Desi loves to spend it. It's kind of her hobby.
Not exactly the best hobby in the world, huh, Nick?
My salary wasn't nearly enough, so I stole data from the company. Run!
Come again?
KB Security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies, and since I was a security team chief...
You stole some data and sold it.
Mr. Bullard found out, and I was fired immediately. What?
I wish I had never asked that.
I was somehow able to keep it secret, and I made it seem like I had quit on my own. What is it, Nick? You don't look so good.
Someone who brings harm to their company is fired as punishment. You'd do well to remember that.
He sure told you.
So you admit that you stole data from your company, is that correct?
Yes. I'm sorry.
This is a very important fact. Please add it to your testimony.
Oh man, this whole thing just took a big turn for the worse, crashed, and blew up. It's gonna take the jaws of life to rip this case from the clutches of disaster.
Oh, don't worry. We can manage it. I feel like I can just go back and press the... Oh, I didn't mean to press that.
Why would you do something like that?
Well, for Desi's hobby, what else?
Wasting money, huh?
It's not a waste!
So Miss Delight doesn't know that her husband was fired, does she? So it would seem. I'm not sure what to think about couples who keep secrets like that from each other.
That is a big secret to keep.
I can't believe it. This case has gotten even Maya to think seriously about couples.
Please try to stay focused, Mr. Wright.
There wasn't much to his testimony, was there? Sounds like he's avoiding something. At least that's what it sounds like to me. Uh-oh. I've got a bad feeling about this. We'd better be careful. But if we don't find a way to make him spill the beans, we'll never get closer to the truth.
Yeah. And we learned last game that that's what lawyers are for. Let's press it again.
Just what were you being blackmailed about anyway?
The blackmail letter said if you don't want your identity revealed, correct?
Well, I'm sure it was referring to the whole mask-to-mask thing.
I'm afraid that reason isn't going to hold up anymore.
What do you mean?
The victim had no proof the defendant was mask to mask, but you were the one who stole company secrets only 1 year earlier.
But that was all over once I was fired.
But it was true that the fact I stole secrets was kept under wraps.
Even so, there was no reason for me to pay up now a whole year later.
Is that really true?
What is it, Nick?
The fact that Ron was stealing company data, I wonder if he would have had a problem with that if it ever became public knowledge.
I think he would.
Mr. Delight, I believe you would have been in considerable trouble if your identity as a company data thief was made public.
Mr. Wright! What are you trying to do by bullying your own client?
Ha! Men are like colonies of bacteria. The more heat you apply, the faster they grow.
That's exactly right. That doesn't make any sense.
Well then, feel free to keep up the heat, my little lawyer amigo.
Little lawyer amigo?
Yes, now come on. Provide some evidence to back up your assertion.
Oh my golly. Golly gee. Oh, that's coffee number 3.
Why would Mr. Delight want to keep his data stealing secret from going public?
His wife. We gotta update the coffee counter. I've decided we're keeping a coffee counter. Coffee number 3. Exactly. We're keeping the coffee counter. It's important. He said he never drinks more than 17 coffees. We will hold him to that. Oh my gosh, speaking of drinking things. We hydrate as Chad demands. A much better thing to do than coffee.
Body break.
And a big stretch. Don't all restaurants have have a coffee counter? It's a pun. And we will do twists. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we did it. Okay. Bonk.
Mr. Delight, what you said right now doesn't match what you told me yesterday.
Uh-huh.
What doesn't? I think you must have been scared, very scared, of having a certain person find out your secret.
A certain person.
Miss Desiree Delight, the defendant's wife.
Wah! But listen to me. My Desi, she's...
Looks like if I just sit back and relax, the fun will end before it truly begins.
Godot, you can't just say things like that, my man.
Godot. Yes, we know. It's all your wife's fault.
What do you mean?
Mr. Delight stole company data to pay for his wife's spending habit, for which he was fired. Unable to face his own wife, someone used his dirty little secret to blackmail him. And that is how the murder came about.
Oh,
No, everything is falling neatly into place for him.
Don't talk about my Desi like that, or you'll be sorry.
Ron.
Well, it seems that we've learned a great deal of things here so far.
What do you think, Nick? I didn't think it was possible to get so thoroughly whipped in just 20 minutes.
Phoenix!
Phoenix. Phoenix.
Why do you guys say these things? Why do you guys say these things? So we can take it a different way. How dare.
Clearly there was sufficient motive for murder. He stole data for his wife, and he killed to protect his secret.
Fear, must I get the spray bottle? No. No.
A family man who cared just a little too much.
The motive is clear. Let's move on. What happened to the crime scene at 1 in the morning, Mr. Delight? Come now, tell us. We're all ears.
When I entered the office, there was a oh no. No! I can say this one. I say this one a lot. There was a I say I can say I know! I know it's suspicious. I know it's suspicious. What's happened? Why doesn't my mouth work? I mean, I know it's not a human mouth in a traditional sense, but like, why doesn't it work? Okay, come on, Radula, we can do this. My We'll do it again. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. Wow, why did that be so hard? I can say suspicious. Wait, what? I can't give myself an incredulous look, but I'm just doing that thing. Hey, escape! That word is spelled just like escape. Doing that, but for my face not working. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. It's Luke at me, almost certainly. Suddenly, I was hit on the forehead. After that, I remember being a bit dazed. If I hadn't been wearing that, I would have been killed. When I came to, Mr. Bullard was lying there, dead.
I see. Suddenly hit on the forehead, huh? I believe the detective from yesterday provided similar testimony. He said that Master Mask struck him on the head from behind. Of course, since Admi turned out to be the culprit himself, that was all a lie. Huh. No one's going to believe a pathetic lie like that.
What are you saying? I really was attacked. It is the truth.
We'll find out if what you say is true or not during the cross-examination. Got that, Mr. Trite? Don't go easy just because he's your client.
That's coffee number 4.
If I see any sign that you are, I'll treat you to another cup of my special blend.
That's coffee number 4. Where's my coffee counter? It's coffee counter 4. Speaking of coffee, you can visit my coffee page. Ha! It picked a good time to show up.
You don't need to worry about that, Mr. Godot. I have faith in Ron. I know he didn't do it.
Are you sure we should? Tell us about this sus shadow.
Who was this suspicious shadow?
Well, if there were 1,000 of me, and if even one knew, I'd tell you, trust me.
His dodging of all our questions is not helping us win this case. Okay, so then how was the victim Mr. Bullard at the time?
What do you mean by how was he?
Was he already dead? Was he still alive? Maybe he was the one who hit you in the first place.
That's a good question. What do you think, Mr. Wright?
Forget it.
Suddenly, I was hit on the forehead. After that, I remember being a bit dazed.
Your forehead?
Yes, I was hit on the forehead as soon as I entered the room. It was an amazingly fast and powerful attack.
Do you remember anything about who hit you?
Well, like I said, it was a fast and powerful hit, so I think I was a little dazed for a while.
I don't think Mr. Delight even grasped what you were asking. Yeah, I'd like to show him a fast and powerful attack myself. Maybe that would knock some sense back into him.
If I hadn't been wearing that, I would have been killed.
Wearing what? That? Could you please clarify what you're referring to?
Why, my mask to mask costume, of course.
Wait just a moment. Mask to mask.
Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? Just to be on the safe side, I dressed as Mask to Mask. And then I descended upon the office of the CEO of KB Security.
What?
Nick, did you know about this? He never told me this.
I don't recall him ever mentioning it to me either.
Oh, Godot.
Even I didn't know that. It seems our little friend really loves to keep secrets.
I'm sorry. I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. Wait, that's not right. You know how sometimes things just slip your mind?
Huh.
My 6th cup of coffee is staring up at me coldly.
Godot? That's not... But I only counted... He's on 6? But he's only had 4 slid across the table. Maybe... Godot can't count. He's a liar. You're right, chat. Godot's a liar. Lying liar face. I bet he'll have 18 cups of coffee at the end of this and we'll only count like 12.
At any rate, we can't ignore this new piece of information. Witness, please correct your testimony.
I'd have been killed if I hadn't been wearing my mask to mask costume. Okay, why were you wearing it anyway?
Why were you dressed up as Mask to Mask?
Why? Because I'm mask to mask, of course. Ron, honey, stop saying that. It's only half true. Please stop saying it. But he won't. He won't. Oh yeah, it's ad break time. I've been derailed enough tonight.
What are you talking about? Mask to Mask trial is being held next door.
Yes, I guess so. Anyway, at that time, I thought I was being blackmailed. Over the mask to mask issue. So I thought I should go as him, just to be safe.
Oh boy.
Let me tell you, it's a real pain to move around with that cape. That's why I took it off. That's why it took a lot longer than I'd expected.
Took a lot longer? What is he talking about? Press harder! What do you mean by took a lot longer?
Oh, opening the safe, of course. My cape got caught on the safe door, you see. This all happened when I was hiding Mr. Bullard's body.
What was that? Back up a second.
Yes?
You were the one that hid the body in the safe?
Well, yeah.
Inconceivable!
Sir, I don't think this word means what you think that it means.
Why? Just why? What reason could you have? What were you thinking?
Question. When does someone toss their dirty shorts in the washing machine?
What?
The answer is simple. When they take them off.
Well, as usual, I have no idea what you're saying.
Do you mean that Mr. Delight hid the body because he's the murderer? Ha! So you're not as stupid as you look. His metaphor this time was really obscure.
Mr. Wright, you don't mean that you knew about this whole safe business, do you?
Well, yes.
Why am I the only one not in the loop here?
Sorry, the judge.
Witness, make sure you add this to the testimony.
Yes, sir.
Uh-oh. Looks like a storm front's moving in over the fair weather judge. He is rightly mad. If this was a real trial and you knew something like that, you'd get wrecked. The judge would be like, excuse me, do you know how evidence rules work? But evidence rules aren't real.
I panicked and hid the body in the safe. It took about 10 minutes.
Okay.
There's gotta be something we can do with this, and I bet it's evidence. Welcome back, everybody!
It's not the urn. Nope.
I wonder if he's in the mask to mask costume.
Oh, wrong thing. I guess the security camera would do it, but... Do you think he hit the buzzer? It went off, but there's no fingerprints. Do you think he hit the buzzer? Do you think he hit the buzzer and not Kane? That he's the one who panicked and like his security guard training kicked in and he was like, oh no, bump, 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 bump. Cause I think he hit the buzzer. I think you called somebody up there. I don't think you panicked at all, sir. I'm going for it.
Your Honor, could you please take a look at this record? And what might this be?
The record for the emergency buzzer that connects the CEO's office to security. If the button in the office is pressed, a security team is supposed to come running. And according to this record, the buzzer was pushed once at 1:02 a.m.
What?
If Mr. Rondelite truly was the murderer, he would have ran as soon as the buzzer sounded. After all, a security guard would have been heading his way. Ha! Let's remember who we're dealing with here. He probably had no idea there were security personnel in the building. That's not true because he's the head of security. Up until 1 year ago, my client was working as the chief of security. There's no way he wouldn't have known about them. But, as it turns out, the guard never came. That was nothing more than a coincidence. The fact that the guard was a pathetic loser who had just gotten punched in the face by his ex's new boyfriend wasn't anywhere near the vicinity was not something Mr. Delight could have known. That's a lot of very specific details, Mr. Wright. Again, remember who we're dealing with here. It's a sure bet that Mr. Delight didn't even notice the buzzer going off. This buzzer is extremely loud. There's no way he could have ignored something like that. That's true, the king is a pathetic loser, but we'll see that later. If he had been conscious, that is.
Conscious? What do you mean by that?
This is coffee number whatever we're on. Coffee number 5. Or 7. We'll keep count from Godot. We'll keep Godot's count as well. Because he said he was on number 6. We'll call it 7 by Godot reckoning. And it's like measuring by centimeters and inches.
Fine, let's hear your theory.
Remember the defendant's testimony. The moment he entered the victim's office, someone attacked him. Mr. Delight said he felt dazed. I'm willing to wager that he was knocked unconscious for at least a few minutes.
Unconscious? So he fainted?
That's why Mr. Delight didn't know the buzzer had sounded. And that's why he thought he had time to hide the body.
So what you're trying to say is...
Mr. Delight was knocked out, and the buzzer went off soon afterwards. Now, unless my client was able to hit the buzzer while he was unconscious, it can only mean that there was another person in that room. That's right! Whoever it was that knocked Ron Delight out, then pressed the buzzer. Oh.
Order! In the court! Mr. Wright, this is... This is preposterous. It was this kid. Ron Delight is the one who killed Kane Bullard.
Then who pressed the buzzer?
It was... the victim, of course. He pressed the buzzer when the defendant attacked him. He didn't die right away. He must have held on long enough to push that button. So Kane Bullard sounded the buzzer himself. What's your opinion on this, Mr. Wright?
There's no way! There's no way he could have sounded it himself. Can I prove that it wasn't Kane Bullard who sounded the buzzer? I can prove it, all right. The defense's opinion is this, Your Honor. This piece of evidence proves it wasn't the victim that sounded the buzzer. Oh, I think it's the buzzer itself. I really hope it is. I really hope it is. Because it doesn't have any fingerprints on it. I believe this is the piece of incontrovertible evidence you're looking for.
The emergency buzzer? Is there some kind of clue on it?
Absolutely not.
Hey, come on now. At least give some thought to what you're saying before you open your mouth.
And we are on actual 6. Or 8, depending on how we count. The fact that there are absolutely no clues is itself the clue.
Well, now I'm the one who's clueless.
The button has no fingerprints on it. If Mr. Bullard had really pressed it himself, naturally he would have left his fingerprints behind.
Ron Delight obviously wiped them off.
Why would he? The guard would have could have come in at any moment.
He touched that button. I know he did.
The defendant, Mr. Delight, was dressed as Master Mask. And Master Mask always wears gloves. What reason could he possibly have had to wipe the button free of fingerprints? Touch, touch, touch.
Order! Order! Order!
It made me remember that I can touch things when they said fingerprints. That also reminded me of the problem with Alien Prometheus. They cut a lot of scenes from that to make it obvious why their robot was touch, 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 touch. And the problem with that was that their robot touched everything. I will say Alien Romulus is very, very good. They did an excellent job capturing the atmosphere and the vibe. They also brought back the man-alien. The Malian, if you will, from Alien 3. Alien 3 was terrible, but the Malian was great. Horrific, even. The Malian, yeah! You guys will love the Malian. I love the Malian. One day I'll show you guys what. Wait, no, I won't. But I recommend it. Just don't be too afraid of gore. It's not very gory exactly, but there is a bit near the end, and there's a bit. It's all concentrated in 2 spots, mostly. Anyway.
Order! 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 It would seem.
Wow, he's whipping through them.
I've been forced to eat crow.
Wow. I didn't think you could get away with saying that anymore. But okay. I wonder what blend number crow-flavored coffee is.
However, if the real killer was at the scene, why would that person press the emergency buzzer?
To frame Master Mask.
Shouldn't they have run away without putting themselves in extra danger?
To frame Master Mask.
What's with this awkward silence all of a sudden?
Ha!
It looks like you're fresh out of parlor tricks.
They're on to you, Nick. Just give me a minute to collect my thoughts. The real culprit killed Mr. Bullard around 1 a.m. And Mr. Delight just happened to waltz in when the murder was taking place, right? The killer clobbered Mr. Delight and then sounded the buzzer. Even though security was supposed to respond right away if the buzzer was pressed. Security was supposed to respond?
Time's up, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you have to say.
Very well, then.
Oh, you've got some guts. I like that in an opponent. Why did the real killer sound the emergency buzzer?
I think they sounded it to call the security guard. To frame him, because he was masked to mask. The killer knew that if they pressed the button, a guard would come running. And that was exactly what they wanted.
Do you mean to say the killer called the guard on purpose?
Yes. Although, as it turned out, he never showed up. Because he was getting his clock cleaned at the time.
Ha! What a touching story. You're saying the killer had a change of heart and called the guard to turn himself in?
No, I'm not. When that buzzer sounded, there were 3 people in that office. The victim, Kane Bullard, who was already dead. The defendant, Ron DeLight, who was out cold. And the third person, the real killer. I know who this killer is. It's Luke Atme.
Hypothetically, yes.
Now then, in this situation, if the real killer made an escape, what would happen? The only ones left in the room would be the victim and Ron DeLight. And if any security guards came running in at that time, they would think that I was the murderer. Yes, that's precisely the real killer's objective. To frame Ron DeLight for the murder. This coffee's lasted him a while. I love how he took a drink of that just to spit it out for us, just to do the spit take.
Order! 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 It would seem.
Oh gosh, Godot.
I've been made to eat my words once again.
Delicious humble pie. This is 8 or 10, depending. Actually, you've been made to do a spit take with a cup of coffee. Mr. Wright, who was it? Who was it that tried to frame me? Wait a second. I'm the one and only Master Mask, so... Nick, you mean the real killer is... We're gonna drag that person in here right now. But who is it? I don't have any solid proof yet, but think about it. The killer knew Mr. Delight's identity, and they also knew that he had been called to KB security that night. So the killer used him to execute a well-crafted plan to murder Kane Bullard. We know who it is and what it's about.
Now then, let's hear your accusation, Mr. Wright. Who was it that framed Ron DeLight for the murder of Kane Bullard?
It was Luke Atme. I remember this case now. Detective Luke Atme. He's the one who could have done it.
Ace detective?
Luke Atme?
You mean Master Mask did it?
Your Honor, the person being tried in the court next to us is not Master Mask at all. He is, in actuality, the true murderer of Kane Bullard. I mean, he is also still Master Mask, kinda, sorta. He's the other half of Master Mask.
Order! Order! Mr. Wright, explain yourself.
Theft and murder. Which is the more serious crime?
Well, they're not even close. Murder is the more serious crime, of course. It's a capital crime subject to capital punishment.
Yeah, when we convict people of murder in this universe, they die. That's what capital punishment means. For those of you living outside the US where they still have that, that's what capital punishment means. It means they just kill you. It's the death penalty. Japan also still has capital punishment. Please remember the trial from yesterday, if you would. When Luke Atme confessed, there was a huge commotion in the courtroom.
Of course. A famous detective was unmasked as well as masked a mask.
Instead of being convicted of murder, he was found guilty of grand larceny. That was his true objective all along.
To be found guilty?
Mask to Mask had the perfect alibi for when the murder took place. He was stealing the urn at Lordly Taylor. In other words, being found guilty as Master Mask was Luke Atmey's airtight, watertight, and unassailable alibi.
A guilty verdict? As an alibi?
Yeah! Judge, it happens all the time. I'm surprised you don't know this.
You know, it's almost time.
For what?
For Luke Atmey's verdict. It was a pretty simple trial, after all. If we're going to stop this trial and stall that one, we'd need to do it now. Of course, that's assuming you have proof that the detective was the one who committed the murder.
Well, Mr. Luke Atmey's trial has indeed attracted the attention of the entire country. If we were to intrude and fail to provide adequate proof of his true crime, Mr. Delight would be left with no grounds for an appeal.
That is not true at all? That's not how that works? The court of public opinion doesn't decide the court of law.
We're very particular about that. Highly particular about that.
Ha! A bet's only good when your life's the ante.
Mr. Wright, I believe in you.
Mr. Delight?
So please, I'm begging you.
Thanks, but my decision will determine the rest of your life. Can I really risk your life like this?
Phoenix.
What was that? Don't stray, Phoenix. For your client, take the path of trust.
Thanks, Mia.
That voice. It sounds like Mia.
Your Honor, the defense requests an immediate recess.
Ha! So that's your answer, huh?
It is.
Very well, I've decided as well. This court will now take a 20-minute recess. Mr. Wright, when we return, please summon Mr. Luke Atmey to the stand.
Yes, Your Honor. We're gonna summon Mr. Luke Atmey. And we're gonna get him convicted of murder! 'Cause we're Delta Airlines, and life is a heckin' nightmare. We're gonna frame you for murder! I love that we frame that. I don't want to be framed for murder. What did I do? Flew on Delta Airlines, I guess. I do like that entire bit is synced up to the archivist and Elias. I love that. Yeah, exactly. Okay. I am highly eepity beepity, but we're gonna do this. Pain? Well, Sir Detective Atmey.
I have to say, Mr. Payne, you performed splendidly.
Oh no, Sir Detective Atmey. You were the one who...
That's enough, eh? This court sees no reason to further prolong this trial. This court finds the defendant, Luke Atmey. Wait! Don't hand down your verdict yet, please. Well, well, Sir Lawyer. Welcome to my courtroom. Who's this oser, eh?
This judge is Canadian. I can't do the particular accent, though, despite being Canadian, because the accent that they have here is very specific to an area of South Central Ontario that is on the border between Ontario and Michigan.
And that accent is what Americans think of as the Canadian accent, as if we have a single accent here. Think of the size of America. Now imagine if we all thought you talked like New Yorkers. But like all of you. That's what you're doing here. Like, legitimately different states have different accents, and y'all are like, Canada's got the same one big accent. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Just trust me. No, it doesn't. We do, though. No, we don't. Or do you mean y'all... Oh, everyone sounds like they're from the Deep South. We know that. America's tiny, after all. Yeah, that's... Yeah, no, that tracks. America, Canada's shorts. I don't have an accent? Everybody except Texans say I'm walking here. Texas is the only exception. And of course, Val, you don't have an accent. Or well, at least not to most other English speakers. Well, that's the thing. I consider that the sort of St. Louis, like... I consider that sort of the St. Louis, like, non-accent. But, like, that's still an accent even on top of it. Phonetics is weird. But y'all know that I sound different than the people around me. Texas isn't a real place. Sheik decrees that this would want... would you want to disagree with the wee baby Sheikton? Keeper of secrets? I wish it was a real place. I don't. Then you'd have to live there, and it sounds terrible. Oh, okay, it wasn't. I get you. Point stands. Point's correct. I'm sorry. My name is Phoenix Wright, attorney at law, and I wish to file an accusation against this man. Luke at me. Accusation? You accuse Master Mask? That man is not Master Mask. He's just a ruthless murderer. What? Listen to the peanut gallery go. But yeah, I was literally just thinking about French Canadian accents a few minutes ago. Exactly. Like, I'm gonna level with you. I can sometimes jokingly get it. But up in Bathurst, New Brunswick, everybody they talk like this, but nobody's speaking a French. They do speak a little bit of French. But it's not gonna sound like the French, you know. And like, that's a real... I could go there. Also, side note, Newfoundland. I don't know if you guys know, but Newfoundland is in Canada. It wasn't for a long time. I know it's new to Canada. I know Newfoundland's new to Canada. It's not their fault. They're listen, Newfoundland is a CFA. That's why they're part of the Atlantic provinces, but not part of the Maritime provinces. We had to invent a new thing to include them in our friend group. Some of you may not know. CFA stands for Come From Away. When you come out here into the Maritimes, sometimes you will hear kind of old-fashioned people call you a CFA. They don't mean it in a mean way most of the time. Usually it's used as an apology for why you don't know something. So it'll be something like not knowing... Oh, it'll be like, at home, for instance, we have a pumpkin regatta. Or, well, we did for a long time. Maybe we do again? Depends on if the lake is there. I don't know if the lake is there right now. That's complicated. Anyway, we have a pumpkin regatta. And so, like, if somebody's like, you what? Are you people crazy? You mean you carve out a pumpkin and sail across on it? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Someone will probably say, oh, don't mind him. He's a CFA. He'll fit in eventually.
And that's when we come to understand that you're not from around here, so you don't know how things are around here, and that's okay. You'll get it. You'll get the hang of it. Which is a really weird way of doing things, but just believe me when I say that we don't mean it in a mean way. It's gonna feel that way, but we're never gonna get you on things that, like... We're gonna get you on things that you're like, are you serious? That's what you do here? That's when we bust out CFA. It wouldn't be polite to bust it out on things that are, like, culturally relevant to a thing that you do. Although there was absolutely definitely a time when that is a thing that people would have done. It's not a thing you do these days. Usually we reserve it to be mean to people whose politeness is all backwards to ours. But, like, other Canadians whose politeness is all backwards to ours. Or for when you're being mean about stuff that we've just always done and we don't understand why you're being mean about it, we'll just say, we'll just call you a CFA. You don't hear it too much anymore. But, there was a time. Anyway, yeah, Newfoundland's new to Confederation, which is how Canada got to be its own thing. We just very politely knocked on England's door and we said hi. Hello, yes, the Queen, hi. We would like to be a country, please, thanks. And the Queen was like, we'll think it over. And then just a little after World War I, the king in question, the king at the time was like, yeah, we've thought about it. Have fun. Hello, welcome in, Tyler. I'm telling Americans about Canadian history that they don't learn about, apparently. Y'all don't learn Canadian history? We have to learn American history, little bits of it. And bits of France and England and stuff. Because it's relevant to us. And it's not just, man, remember that time we burnt the White House down? And that other time we burnt the White House down? That was pretty cool. Like, we actually learned, like, whole stuff. Like, I had to learn about the American Revolution in school. Because it was relevant to France's history, which is relevant to our history. Like, I'd learn about the War of 1812. I will say, we do call it the American Revolution here primarily. You will never hear us calling it the War of Independence. Because we're part of the Commonwealth. Can't be helped. But, like, I can name probably a couple of your founding fathers. Maybe. Besides Washington. And not just because I've seen the musical Hamilton. I do know about the burning of the White House, burning the White House down. I tip my hat to Canada for that. Yay! How goes the court case? Well, we've accused a man of being a thief. And then a different man said he was the thief. And then we were like, you're not the thief, he's the thief. And this guy was like, no, I'm the thief. And we were like, I don't know about that. And he's like, no, I really am. And we were like, oh, okay, what? And then our guy who was like, I'm definitely the thief was like, someone else was like, you're the murderer. And he's like, murderer? And now we're back to the first guy who we accused of being a thief being like, but you're the murderer. You can't be a thief. Canadians know more history than U.S. Americans. Oh no. We might. We might. I'd feel bad if we did. Like, I feel like that's a bad thing when somebody outside your country rocks up and is just like, in high school I learned about your country. And then tells you about it and you're like, I did not know that part. Like, I'd feel bad. Oh no. But I mean, it wouldn't be uncommon. Also, different countries pick weird things to learn about different other countries. That's what I've learned. Anyway, back to the court case of the century. My sis? I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice. Once again, Mia coming in clutch. So then,
she's still alive inside your heart. Nicky boy! Oh, Ms. Delight. Is it true that the detective is the real killer? To be honest, we don't have any definitive proof. But he's the only one who could have done it. But wasn't he at Lordly Taylor that night?
So is the thief not the thief, then who done it? Well, this is complicated. This is a trial of betrayal and blackmail and thieving and wild stuff. Apparently in Japan they don't teach the Japanese involvement in World War II. They're just like, yeah, everyone was fighting, but we were just chilling. And suddenly Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Lol. The way I hear it in the US, you don't bother teaching World War I basically at all. You're just like, it sure did happen, and then we swooped in and we're victorious. Meanwhile, over here, when we learn about World War I, we're just like, and that's why you shouldn't mess around with Canada. If you do, you'll find out. Do not mess around with Canada at war. Because we don't mess around. I don't know how to explain. I can't explain on stream why you don't mess around with Canada at war, but I will tell you about it later if you guys really want to know in the Too Spoopy for General part of my Discord. It's, we're wild. Yeah, basically we were taught why it happened and not anything that happened during the war itself. Of course! Billy Bishop! Yes! Let's go! First ace pilot. We did war, and then people made rules, and then we took them as suggestions. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing about Canada. We're all very nice, polite people, and we're generally very good, nice, polite people. And then you rock up to war, you bring war to us, and we're like, oh, you want to fight about it? And then something primal snaps in us. Something primal snaps in our everything. And then we black out for 4 years and we win World War I. I'll tell you guys all about it. Trust me. I'm not nice and polite. I'm a rabid raccoon with familiars who have knife feet. Okay, fair enough. I'm generally nice and polite, but also I'm only 4 centimeters tall, so I can't really back myself up exactly. Right, I was playing a video game. Guys, I was playing a video game, but y'all got me distracted by one of my favorite passions, history. I love history, it's so weird. I love that we try to make narrative, that the further we are from history, the more we try to fit it in as a narrative, even though it really, really isn't. And that's one of the things that leads to biases and stuff, is that you try to fit it in as a narrative, but, like, it's not. Val, you do have the worst taste in fictional characters. But I can't speak for that. Or more accurately, this is It Takes One to Know One. I just killed a dragon! I fear no country! What dragon? Canada's a gentle giant. They bake you a pie, bring you some tea, and if you take one step in the wrong direction, BAM! You leave a cartoonish person-shaped hole in the floor. That's true facts. You'd have to take a lot of steps in the wrong direction, though. And generally speaking, those steps in the wrong direction were like, if we bring you tea and some apple pie, and we're like, here you go, and you're like, I wanted coffee, and then you throw the tea at us, we'll just be like, oh, sorry, and probably get you another coffee, like, get you a coffee or something. And then if you still get mad, and then you still get mad, and then you so on and so forth, you gotta push really hard, is what I'm saying. But when you do, oh boy, howdy does it, oh boy, oh boy. There's one in Dragon Age I took down. Yes! Let's go. I've killed a time-freezing king multiple times today, in fact. You did do that, I bet. We don't love the... That's why you have to kill that time-freezing king multiple times. You don't win. He's time-freezing, but you're time-looping.
And you can't stop the loop. Well, you can, but not like that. Anyway, right, video game. Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Atme want to kill Kane Bullard? Because he was being blackmailed. Oops, it's almost time. Better get back to the courtroom. I need to find some solid proof. And it's gotta happen sooner rather than later. It's because he was being Canada's just like me, for real, for real. Yes! Like I said, we're nice people. Oh yeah, right. Darn. Anyway, thank you for the raid. You guys know the drill. I'm Fiera Luna. I play games on the internet. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. And if you've been here before, welcome back. We're playing Phoenix Wright tonight. Whee! I forgot to do the thing. I always forget to do the thing. You'd think I'd have a sticky note somewhere with the thing to do, but I forgot. And I haven't put the chalk markers to use for a while because aquarium staff doesn't like when I get them out, because I'm most often using them to mark alchemical symbols on the edges of my tank because I'm playing the room, and then they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm keeping notes, please don't clean them off. And then they're like, are you making something? And I go, no, I'm playing a video game. And then they go, just look it up. And I go, no. It's gotta happen sooner rather than later. To court. Welcome in, Sir B. We're going to court.
Now then, this court is back in session. Mr. Luke Atme, please take the stand.
We got on this topic because the other judge is Canadian. I know you hate the king. We'll all hate him too eventually. You know what happens when I join. Oh no! Oh no, I done been bugged. Wah.
Well, well, how do you do, Sir Lawyer? I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly. I couldn't let them hand down your verdict just yet. Not when it would have given you a perfect alibi. An alibi by the name of Master Mask. I'm sorry, I'm afraid even the great Luke Atme has no idea what you mean. Of course, I have been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I almost want to be like, have you though?
I've been banked! Oh, I've been banked again! Miss Von Karma's here. Okay.
You've been in the defendant's seat all day long, correct? Being tried as Master Mask. Indeed. It's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did the poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring that sparkles upon my divine finger, for example.
So you continue to insist that you are, in fact, Master Mask? Of course. Wow, you hate the king like I hate Codicus. Codicus! I've been reminded! No, Codicus dies in a much better way. He doesn't even need to drown. We just kill him. You guys remember me telling you he gets what he deserves, and we gave that to him in Season 3, Head of the Snake. I still want to drown the king. Fair enough. I've stabbed him more than enough. You know what you need? You know what you need? What you need? Ceiling mirror! Why would you remind me of that? What you need is the Shining Blade. That killed Lazarus. It'll probably kill him. Ceiling mirror. Ceiling mirror. Why would you remind me of the ceiling mirror? Why does this old man need that? What is he doing with a mirror above his bed?
What is he doing with that portrait of Logan Thackeray also? Wah, I done been bugged. I done been bugged again. Wah. I understand. I understand. It's just how it is.
Ah, right. Of course.
Very well then, Luke Atme, let us begin with the simple question. On October 12th at 1 a.m., Kane Bullard was murdered. Where were you at that time?
One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself. But don't worry. I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge.
Thanks.
Oh, I did it again.
All right, Mr. Atme.
The night of the murder. Speak.
Oops. I gotta count. I gotta add that to the count.
We're listening.
I gotta add it to the count. This man told me he was on his 6th cup of coffee. So now I've got 2 counts because I didn't count 6, but he got them off screen, I guess. We're counting to 17 to see if he goes over.
As you wish, Sir Prosecutor. I was stealing the urn as mask to mask, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the camera captured mask to mask was the same time as the murder.
I don't think it was.
I see the main point of discussion will be this photo of the crime scene.
Everything else up until now was part of his plan. There has to be a secret to this picture as well.
There is.
Wait a second.
Okay, that is 2 minutes to 1 in the morning. But what if it's not? There's something wrong with that timestamp. I know there's something wrong with that timestamp. I don't know what it is, but I know that it's wrong.
Even the great mask to mask cannot be in 2 places at once. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I have a verdict to receive. Unfortunately, Mr. Atme, we still have to do your cross-examination. A fool is too foolish to know that he is a fool.
I think he's trying to say that you're full of it, Nick. The only thing that's full of it is his alibi. That's a true fact. I know there's something wrong with that timestamp. I don't know what we need to press to tell him that. Because I remember this case. It's Luke Atme. He did it. He did do the murder. There's something wrong with the timestamp because he wasn't... He was kind of in both places at once, but he wasn't really. Or more accurately, he murdered Kane Bullard and then it was 1 a.m. Like, I don't know how to explain.
Codicus! It's time to show Codicus and the king what it's like to fight Canadians in war. I will tell you all about it, you guys, but not here, not on stream.
Y'all don't need to hear about it immortalized here. You can Wikipedia it if you're actually that deeply interested.
Or I can tell you about it. And nobody knows to this day why we did it. What happened? What was the catalyst? Nobody knows. We have some ideas, but I'll tell you later. Okay. I was stealing the urn as mask to mask, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job.
I don't know. Let's start here. No, you weren't. King's so stupid he can't even remember the name of his country. I don't know if that's the dumbness.
It was the Doritos.
Yes!
Yes, we tasted... Well, Doritos hadn't been invented yet, and as we know, Doritos would be too strong for a medieval peasant. And since Doritos weren't invented yet, although we weren't quite medieval peasants, they touched a little bit of the nacho cheese to our tongue, and we were just like, whoa! And it was too much for us. So this photograph is the proof, correct? Indeed it is. And the man in the photo is certainly wearing a mask. Well, that's why I'm called Mask to Mask. But conveniently, that also means that there's no way to tell who this really is.
What do you mean?
Ha! Are you saying this is not, in fact, Luke at me? Could it be that an accomplice dressed up as Mask to Mask to create an alibi? Oh ho! What an interesting idea. Are you saying that I, Lone Wolf Luke, had an accomplice? Give it up. Wait. I mean, yeah, you did. If Luke Atme was at KB Security during the murder, then the Mask to Mask in this picture has to be a fake. Then there really was an accomplice. But right now I have no idea who it was. Aww. I don't have any idea either. Baseless objections are just what that guy wants. There's got to be another way, and I'm gonna find it. Oh, I meant to tell him to give it up, to, like, tell us, because, like... But okay! Press everything! I'm glad we hate the king. We're still gonna reason with him. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point. That's right. That was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. You sent the calling card to Lordly Taylor 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the card after you begin your security watch, right? Indeed. There was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target.
I see. You truly are evil, aren't you?
Yes, evil is what I am. Hey, Nick, isn't there something odd about this?
Hmm?
Detective Atme was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lordly Taylor while he was the only one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona. You know, that's true. It is kind of odd. You sure about that, bud? About the camera that took the photograph. Oh, come now! It's all too clear what you're thinking, huh? You think I altered the timestamp on the photograph, don't you? I think something's wrong with the timestamp. I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up by Lordly Taylor, and on top of that, it was Lordly Taylor's staff that printed that picture's data. Unfortunately for the defense, there's no way that picture could have been altered.
I see.
I need to go learn Polish. Solve the case, Fear. You can do it. I believe in me! Have fun with Polish! Some of those letters are... Some of those consonant combinations are weird, but they actually sound like things. I've also learned that W is V. It's Minkowski. Not Minkowski. That's important to remember. So this alibi is false? It has to be, or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bullard at KB Security. But I'm not really finding anything unusual. There are two possibilities. Either the Mask to Mask in the photo is a fake, or the photo itself is. I need to press statement 3 because I didn't do it yet. Chat, I will drink up in a second. I don't know if that's still true of Polish. I only know that's true of Wolf 359 is a really good show. So by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here, is that correct? Indeed it is. That it is. The very thing that proves I committed the crime. The very thing that proves you committed the crime. Surely even you understand by now. Lordly Taylor provided that camera. There's no way I could have tampered with it. That means I could not have killed Kane Bullard, unless I had an accomplice. Come on, think long and hard about that night. The basement warehouse and this picture that's supposed to capture it. It's got to be here. Isn't there something funny about this picture? Yeah, there is. Are you implying that this picture is a fake? You bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. We took a look around the basement warehouse that night before the theft took place, and there's something in this photo that doesn't match my memory of that night. Yeah, the pink paint! Because there was a statue there. We know that.
Very well. Let's hear what you have to say.
What about this photograph do you find funny? Can I point just generally at this? Is that good enough? The funny part is right here.
Why, this is a blood stain. Ah, blood! Now this case is getting interesting.
Not exactly. The stain is actually pink paint.
Oh, right. We hydrate as chat demands.
Oh, just paint, and peach-colored at that.
From blood to peaches. The judge sure loves going on his wild tangents.
Just like me.
The problem with this photograph is not the paint. The problem is that when you consider the layout of the basement warehouse, it turns out that something should have been there. It is nowhere to be seen.
It's the statue! Ow. Alright, we hydrate as chat demands.
Well, Mr. Wright, what is supposed to be in this picture instead of the paint stains?
The statue!
The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following.
Well, there's a good reason for that.
On the day of the crime, around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. I realized that the statue would be the perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it. I myself was there the night the theft took place, and saw that statue in that spot. If this picture was truly taken on that night, then that statue should have been there.
But when I went there the day after the theft, that statue of the old bag was sitting in the corner. Perhaps it was somehow pushed there accidentally.
Your Honor, this statue is slightly larger than yourself and quite heavy. It would take more than an accidental push to move it that distance.
Ha! In that case, can you prove it? Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why that statue was moved that night?
Can you do it, Nick?
I think I can. I think I can, chat.
Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it?
Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you're prepared with your answer. Now then, who was the one that moved the golden statue on the night of the crime?
It was Luke!
He's the only one who could have, because he was the only one that was there. The one who moved the statue is none other than Luke at me.
Come now, Sir Lawyer. There you go again on one of your strange delusions. Mr. Wright, what basis do you have for your strange delusions?
It's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night.
Well, that is indeed very simple. However,
why would I want to move a heavy golden statue? The reason for moving the golden statue. Here's where our battle really begins.
Well, Mr. Wright, what reason did the witness have to move that statue?
The reason can be found here in this photograph. Look at me. You pretended to be Master Mask to create an alibi by showing you were at Lordly Taylor that night. But this photograph contains a single fatal flaw. It's definitely the timestamp. If the statue had been there, your lie would be exposed like cheap film at a drugstore. That is why you moved the statue.
A single fatal flaw?
Interesting theory. Please enlighten us. Just where in this picture does the lie exist?
It's the timestamp. It's got to be the timestamp. I don't know how to explain, chat. I don't know how to explain. It's deep in my soul that it's the timestamp.
Naturally, the lie in this photo is in the timestamp.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you exactly what I mean. On the night in question, Luke Atme went to KB Security and murdered Kane Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to have been at Lordly Taylor at this time.
But what does that have to do with the statue being moved?
Remember, if you will, Your Honor. When was this statue placed besides the warehouse door?
Well,
The statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime, and it was placed there in order to cover up the paint.
Exactly. Luke Atme had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim, and so, in order to create an alibi for that time, he took this picture days before the murder took place.
what the?
Of course, the statue hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse.
Ah!
So on the day of the crime, Mr. Atme must have been quite nervous. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, so to speak. Why? Because something that wasn't supposed to be there had been brought down and placed where it wasn't supposed to be. And that is why Luke Atme had to move the statue on the night of the murder. He did it to make the room match the way it had been in this photo. Wah!
Order! Order! Mr. Atme, is this true?
One moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this?
What's that?
The data for the basement warehouse computer. According to this, the camera did indeed go off the night of the crime. It's true that the camera had been set up by the Lordly Taylor staff. However, the program used to manage that data was yours. That alone would have allowed you to tamper with the data.
Order! Order! Mr. Godot, what is the meaning of this? Godot, I warned you about making me wait. Now put that coffee down.
My 11th cup.
Oh my golly, Miss Godot! You can't keep doing this. Wait. No, we're good. Okay, so far so good. We are still on 11. The judge is actually taking control? I know. He doesn't like Godot.
I've promised to drink no more than 17 during a trial, which means I'm still good till the last drop.
Godot!
However, the defense has a very good point.
A good point. So what? We are all but travelers on this road of infinite points.
I think you've got your points mixed up with your other points.
So you say this photograph was taken ahead of time, and that the statue was moved in order to make it match. That's a very interesting idea. However, there's one point that can't be denied.
Which is?
That it's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by chains of maybe can never reach their dreams.
That is coffee number 12. Or 10. Depending on whether or not Godot can count.
Well, that's very true.
No way, don't fall for that, Your Honor.
Hey, Mr. Damask.
Yes?
If there's no funny business in your actions as Master Mask, there should be no problem with you telling us your strategy. So let's hear it.
Yes, please provide this court with your testimony about your plan to steal the sacred urn.
May I save? Darn it. I first received the request from Lordly Taylor about 20 days ago. Can I save now? Yay! Don't joke about that. I would save state it if I was going to. All right, we are going on a little adventure. Adventure time. Come on, grab your friends. We'll go to very distant lands. Because it is now closing time! And we hope you enjoyed your visit to the octopus enclosure! Woo! Bloop. Bloop. Tomorrow is Guild Wars 2. For now, we are going on a little adventure. I don't know where we're going. Do 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 do. Ooh. Ooh, there's so much going on. So many people on tonight. Oh my good golly. Alright, let's see. Who are we going to visit? Ba 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 ba. Oh! Oh, I know who we can go visit. You guys have been talking about Minecraft lately. Let's go visit Zeke the Geek. Alright, that is it for tonight, everybody. I will see you all tomorrow for Guild Wars, where we will war the guilds. Alright, good night, everybody. Thanks for playing along with me. Bye!